What's going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop Luke. In this episode, we'll be talking about our final preseason game that happened against Hawthorn. Let's get into it. They said it couldn't be done. They said it was a fluke. They said the stats were showing that we couldn't do it again. But yesterday, we took on Hawthorn in our final preseason game and we won by 6 points. Another close win. And I thought we were done with them, honestly. I thought we weren't having any more close wins. But lo and behold, Collingwood end their preseason with a close win, and let's pray and cross our fingers that this isn't the trend for 2023 again. Like I said, final preseason match against Hawthorn was a really good tune-up to see how we would go and line up in round one, and looking pretty good with the squad. Braden Maynard didn't play because he had an infection from a cut that he sustained last week against Carlton, so he didn't play. At about half-time, they took off from memory Scott Pendlebury, Jamie Elliott, Jeremy Howe, a couple more players, because then 6 or 7 other guys got a run. Will Hoskin-Elliott got a run, Markov got a run, Reef McInnes as well, and a couple of the other kids. So it wasn't, Hawthorn did the same, and we did the same against Carlton last week, so it wasn't the best 23 playing a practice game. It's still going to be determined. This practice game, though, it was very roller coastery. It was pretty much like our 2022 season, where we would start off strong and then they'd come back, then we'd come back, and then we'd have to catch up. And in the third quarter, I think Hawthorn went up by 3 goals or something, and we pegged them back. So it was very 2022-esque. But in saying that as well, it was just like we were going through the motions. And I know I said that about the Carlton game as well, but it just looked like we were going at about 85%, and to Hawthorn's credit too, they looked like they were going at about the same, where our defence wasn't really tight. We leaked a lot of goals. I think, how many did they kick? 16 or 14 goals or something like that. Our defence wasn't really that tight. They were just running through. No one was really putting in those big efforts to kind of chase down and tackle. Moore did a nice chase down tackle, but more so like putting a hand out to stop. Guys were running around. So it looks like they weren't going at 100%, which is, you're not going to play your full hand in the final practice match, because you want to keep a little bit in the barrel for the 2023 season, you know what I mean? So I can understand that. It did get frustrating that we let them kick so many goals, but on the flip side of that, we kicked 15, 16, and although that total sucks, right? It's just not a good total. That's 31 scoring shots. If we could convert 4 or 5 of those behinds into goals, which we really should have, that we've missed a lot of easy ones. Easy, I say, as I'm sitting, in my house and on a chair talking to a camera and not in front of 10,000 people trying to kick goals. But if we can convert those ones, we can start putting these sort of teams to the sword, because our percentage wasn't that good at all last season. We just scraped into the top 4. If we want to be top 4 contenders again, we need to tighten up these things, and we need to be putting a big score against opposition that are lower than us to boost up our percentage by the end of the season, because I think that at the end of this season, that's what it's going to come down to, percentages. Now, game-wise, that first 10 to 15 minutes was just magnificent. It was just, I was getting butterflies. I was giddy with excitement. It was just amazing Collingwood football that we've come to know and love, with a bit of extra pizzazz, if you will. And it was just great to see. I think I tweeted about 4 minutes into the game, I'm like, we were 2 goals up or 3 goals up. 4 minutes into the game, I'm like, put a fork in it. We are winning the premiership. It's coming home. We're winning the flag, right? Obviously a bit of tongue-in-cheek, but I just loved how we were playing. And yes, we got to see glimpses of that. We didn't get to see that for the whole game. We let Hawthorn back into it, like I mentioned. But we got to see some of these new things that we haven't seen for a while. Mainly, we won centre clearances. We were on top in clearances. Tom Mitchell, right? Tom Mitchell. I think he had 3 or 4 clearances, but he had 20 plus or so handballs, and those handballs were he was going in and under, getting them out of the pack. It was going to Taylor Adams. He was linking up with Jordan De Goey in the middle. I'm going to try and put through a package of all of Tom Mitchell's handballs, like to Jordan De Goey and stuff like that. But that's exactly what we're paying Tom Mitchell for. That's why we got him into the club. I don't care. He's not going to get 15 clearances a game, and I don't care about that. If he's feeding off the handballs to Adams, Crisp, Jordan De Goey, they'll be licking their lips, because they haven't had someone in and under doing this for so bloody long. And it was amazing to see. speaking of Jordan De Goey, on fire, right? 31 disposals, 13 inside 50s, a bunch of clearances, I think 8 clearances, and he was just 800 metres gained or thereabouts, on fire. Kane Corns came out and said he could win the Brownlow, and like I said, this is the year where Jordan De Goey cements himself. He had a difficult preseason last season because of the New York fiasco, so he didn't train with the club. Halfway through with the Bali incident, again, he took 2 or 3 weeks off or something like that. So he has finally got a preseason in where his body's right, he's fit, he's raring to go. Let's see this Jordan De Goey throughout the whole season, because we know he can do this for 3 or 4 games, then he'll drop off, then he'll do it again, then he'll drop off. Then we need consistency. I think he won the Gary Ayres medal for best player in the finals last season. So we need to see more of this Jordan De Goey, because it is tantalising football that he plays when he is on. The other new guys, Daniel McStay did what Daniel McStay was doing. We got to see him work in tandem with Brody Mychek. Still a lot of things to work out. They were both flying for the same ball. Mychek really couldn't get his hands on it. It looked like he was just, I don't know, like he just wasn't on at 100%, Brody Mychek. But Daniel McStay did everything correct. Like, I loved everything about him. Billy Frampton. Look, with Billy, it's going to be a bit of a, not a slog, but it's going to take a little bit of time to get him where he needs to be. But we recruited him so Darcy Moore, Nathan Murphy, Jeremy Howe can play off their man. That's what Frampton is doing. Looked a little bit, when he had the ball, was fumbled a little bit. Didn't do too much. The ball didn't really get next to his player too much. So we'll see if he makes the round 1 team. But a guy that I think is definitely making the round 1 team, Bobby Hill. Electric, just what he was doing, able to run off that wing. I said he maybe plays in Ginnivan's spot as that pocket, but I think that he takes Will Hoskin-Elliott's spot as a forward flanker now and just moves up the ground, runs down the wing. Josh Dacos was everywhere as well. Nick Dacos got a hard tag in a preseason game, which is crazy, but credit to Nick Dacos for having a tag in a second preseason game. It's like, that's absolutely nuts. In regard to everything else with the game, look, like I said, it just was a game where we were going at 85%. Yes, our defense leaked goals, but our forwards had a lot of opportunities to kick a big score, and we should have put this to bed a long time ago. But in saying that, I think Hawthorn, I'm just looking at the scores here. Yeah, Hawthorn had 1 less scoring shot, so they could have put to bed a long time ago as well. So defense was a little bit leaky. Yes, it's a preseason game. It's like poker. We're not going to show our full hand, but I am just so excited. Can you believe that round 1 is just around the corner? In 2 weeks' time, it's, a Friday night, 2 weeks' time. In a few hours, we'll be getting ready to go to the football and see the Pies take on Geelong. And I don't know what our round 1 team is going to look like. I'm going to take a stab at it in another video soon. But it is going to be hard to pick a round 1 team because, what we were seeing yesterday in glimpses was amazing. A bit to work on, just like any sort of team in the preseason. There's going to be a lot to work on, but we're going to get there, and we are going to contend this year. I can just feel it in my bones. One thing I did want to bring up as well is the Jordan De Goey tackle, and lots of mixed feelings on this one. I've got mixed feelings on this one as well. So, look, the Jordan De Goey tackle, if you didn't see, he tackled Lloyd Meek, tackled him to the ground. Lloyd Meek falls, hits his head. He gets up, he's fine, right? No concussion, no armed pinned. For a guy that's like twice Jordan De Goey's size, that's a great tackle. Right? I think, personally, it's a great tackle. Grabs him, he swings him around and dumps him. Mind you, before that, Lloyd Meek fends off. He gets tackled by 2 players, gives off the handball, and then, doesn't get pinned for it. So the thing is, Jordan De Goey is in a second motion dumping, hasn't got his arm pinned, no concussion. So fingers crossed it's just a fine or it's nothing and he doesn't get suspended for the round 1 game against Geelong. But look, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Final preseason game, all done. I'm so excited. What did you think about it? Who can improve? What needs to improve? Let me know your thoughts down below. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double checkers. I'll swoop you later.